Hey guys, and welcome to another True Rehab video. So great to have you all with me here again. And firstly, as I always do, I'd just like to thank everyone for the massive support that has been coming through, and everyone watching my videos, liking them and sharing them. And as I said, I can't thank you enough for doing that. So keep it up and keep up the great work for us. This week, week 4, we took on a gluten-free diet with I guess so many more people kind of trialling gluten-free diets or going down the gluten-free product range. I kind of really wanted to delve into see how it is to be a gluten-free diet for a week, or kind of be involved with a gluten-free diet for a week, and just test out some of the products and see how they are. Not avoid it completely, just I actually really wanted to actually go and test some of the products that are out there, you know, pasta sheets and kind of chips and things like that that are becoming more and more, I guess, prevalent on our shelves these days. So I guess to start with, let's talk a little bit about what gluten is and kind of, I guess, the implications it can have, and then talk a bit about celiac disease. So I guess people who have an intolerance to gluten or have a disease known as celiac disease, the gluten molecule actually affects and causes the small intestine to have a hypersensitivity to it. And this leads to difficulty in people digesting their foods and getting the nutrients and, I guess, enough absorption out of their food. So the only treatment for this, if you do have celiac or a gluten intolerance, is, I guess, a diet that is free of gluten. And this is a lifelong thing. So some people who have, or everyone who has celiac disease, will have to pretty much avoid gluten for the rest of their lives. And people who have a sensitivity to it might be able to get away with some products here and there. But pretty much the only way of kind of, I guess, getting around it is just cutting out gluten altogether. Celiac disease in Australia is becoming more common, I guess, due to better diagnostic techniques and testing techniques that are kind of becoming available for people when they may go to their doctor with some certain symptoms that they think may be related to gluten intolerances. It is suggested that around about 30 or 40% of people in Australia carry the genetic code to kind of be susceptible to getting celiac disease, and then of these people, it's suggested that around about 2 to 5% of them will actually, I guess, contract or get the disease known as celiac disease. And so when you kind of break that all down, it's around about 1 in 70 people in Australia who have been found to have the celiac disease itself. Now, it's gone hugely undiagnosed these days, and there's a number of reasons for that. Some people just don't go to the doctors. Males are a particularly a good example of this. We might get a stomach ache, or you might kind of have a certain rash, or you think, look, I'll just see how it goes and just not attend the doctors. The other reason why it's going undiagnosed these days is many doctors, when presented with a patient that might have certain symptoms like, I guess, indigestion and stomach cramps and things like that, might just think it might be stomach ulcers and kind of go down that route. It's not a taboo, but it's just becoming kind of a bit, because it's almost becoming fashionable to eat gluten-free, I guess. People are steering clear of just putting people and pigeoning them in that kind of celiac disease, and not kind of putting them through the proper testing protocols to actually determine whether you are actually a celiac or have some sort of hypersensitivity to gluten itself. So that's a few reasons why it's going massively undiagnosed at the moment, but it's still around about, as I said, that 1 to 2 out of 70 people in Australia do actually have the disease itself. And with this has, I guess, seen an explosion in the gluten-free product range that we see on shelves. It's pretty much impossible to go to a shopping market in Australia, at least, and you can't find an aisle that's just full of gluten-free products. But paradoxically, it's actually not the celiacs that are actually eating these products. As I said before, it's kind of almost becoming fashionable, and we're kind of being told that gluten is actually a bad thing for us. Now, if you don't have celiac disease or a sensitivity to it, this actually isn't the case, and I'll go more into that in a second. But because of, I guess, being told us that these kind of products are better for us to kind of live a gluten-free life and go down that route, you've seen these huge increases in gluten-free products becoming available. And so I guess with that, people might be going down this route and kind of missing out on some vital minerals and fiber that you do actually see in gluten products. Now, gluten is found in products such as wheat, rye, barley, and things like that. And so if you eliminate these from your diet completely, you're actually missing out on those whole grains in your diet. And as I said before, they can contain great fibers and minerals and vitamins that are essential to a healthy diet. And my apologies to the celiacs out there, but personally for me, there's nothing better than going down to your local bakery and actually picking up a nice fluffy white loaf of bread and having a sandwich or something like that, or beautiful pasta dish home cooked by your mother. Personally, as I said, I don't think there's anything better. So I personally wouldn't kind of live the gluten-free life, and I don't kind of subscribe to the fact that it's a good way of doing it. As I said, unfortunately, if you are diagnosed as celiac, it's just the life that you're going to have to live, and you have to go down that route. And there's ways, I guess, of getting in those vital minerals and vital minerals and vitamins, as I was saying. But if you don't have any issues with gluten, then I say then it's perfectly fine. So, as I said, this week I dived into the diet itself and kind of wanted to take a real look at these products that were available. So earlier in the week I made myself a gluten-free pasta. While it was okay, the pasta sheets themselves, they taste like cardboard, let's be honest. They're nothing like the real thing. And they're made from a weird array of kind of starches. So I looking on the back of some of these products, it's got potato starch and maize starch and corn starch. And these are all kind of blended up into a kind of flour-based substance to kind of then make the pasta sheet, as we'll call it. I then kind of had nachos on one night and kind of made myself gluten-free nachos, and again, you can buy these products from the shelves. They do exist, and again, the nachos themselves, they're just so bland in flavour, and they taste, as I said, pretty much like cardboard. Not that I go around eating cardboard, but that's basically kind of what I would think they would taste like. They're flavourless, they're highly processed, unlike, as I said, a good quality pasta that might be homemade, very easy to make homemade pasta, or a good quality loaf of bread. These products just don't even compare in regards to them. So let's dive into my top 5, as I always do with each one of my diets. So let's look at number 1. How did I feel? In general, I felt fine. I mean, there was nothing wrong with having these products. They just have no flavour. So apart from, I said, going through a tasteless lasagna, I felt fine, and I don't particularly have any issues with gluten, so kind of getting rid of it out of my diet, I didn't really feel anything different, to be honest. Number 2, did I like the diet? Again, it didn't really change my diet a whole lot. Not being able to have, as I said, my kind of breads or cereals and things like that I would usually have in my diet was a bit of an inconvenience, not being able to just get them. But there's so many products that are now available that are gluten-free. It's pretty easy to kind of go and live that diet and be quite available. And how easy was it to follow? Number 3, as I said, very easy. Because of this huge explosion of products on our shelves these days, it's very easy to find. They're not very difficult to kind of come across these kind of products. Number 4, was it costly? Now, this is the big one. These products are massively inflated on price. So, as an example, the gluten-free pasta sheets, I kind of compared gluten-free pasta and a regular pasta sheet with regards to lasagna. And I reckon they're about 2 to 3 times more expensive. So if you are going to live a gluten-free life and you don't need to, expect to pay a lot more money for these kind of products. Now, if you just want to eliminate all kind of gluten-based products and just eat wholesome whole foods, as in fruits and vegetables and meats, then it's going to be quite simple. But if you do still want to eat breads and cereals and things like that, and you have to find the gluten-free products, they're massively expensive. And number 5, would I recommend it? After going through the research and testing out the products this week and kind of looking at the cost benefit and kind of all those kind of things, I would never recommend this diet. Personally, as I said, if you don't have an issue with gluten, there is absolutely no reason you should be eliminating it from your diet. There's absolutely nothing wrong, despite all the fear-mongering that we get from, marketers and shopping centres and chefs and things like that on TV, just always cramming it down our throats, saying get rid of gluten out of your diet. It's bad for your indigestion. It's bad for your absorption of nutrients. It's a bad food to kind of incorporate into your diet. Personally, I think it's all garbage. I think it's perfectly fine to have these in your diet. Now, eating huge quantities of pasta and huge quantities of bread, of course, like anything, be in moderation. You shouldn't be having a huge quantity of pasta every single night. You shouldn't be eating fluffy white bread every single day. But to have a sandwich a couple of times a day, or have a pasta dish once or twice a week, in amongst a good healthy diet of good wholesome foods, nothing wrong with that at all. So I guess that's my top 5 with the questions this week and going over the gluten-free diet. I guess to sum it all up, a pretty easy diet to follow, but quite costly and I think unessential, not essential for people who don't have the issues with gluten. Moving on to next week. So week 5, what are we doing? Well, this is the one I think I'm most scared about. It's going down the route of the juice diet. Now, there's a whole heap of, I guess, tonics and things like this that people are kind of coming up with, and you've probably heard of the lemon diet, the grapefruit diet, and all those kind of things. That's not the way I'm going. I'm not going a detox juice diet. What I am going to do is, I watched a documentary this week called Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. It was actually a really interesting documentary about an Australian executive who was living a very unhealthy executive type lifestyle, flying all over the place, eating unhealthy, out for dinners with clients and things like this. Had some issues with his health, and so he basically went off all food, and all he did was juice his fruits and vegetables for 60 days. Now, of course, I'm only doing it for the next 7 days, and there were some massive health benefits that came along with that. So I'm going to delve into the world of juice diets. I don't think I'm going to reach the end of the week only drinking juices, so I've kind of made it a little bit more lenient, and I'm going to include smoothies in there as well. So I'm only going to be drinking this week. I won't eat anything, but everything has to go through some sort of smoothie or a blender or a kind of juicer of some description. So I'll still be able to incorporate milk and things like that in for my I guess smoothies, but I'll try my best to kind of just keep it to fresh fruits and vegetables and keep them as my juice-based diets this week. So wish me luck. I don't think I'm going to get through this diet. My wife is away at work this week, and that's the reason I've chosen this week, because I think I'm going to become insufferable to live with at home. So the fact that she's away is, I think, a good time to actually incorporate this one. My poor dog, I think Rupert's going to have to be the sufferer of my, whinging this week. So, yes, the juice diet this week. Again, to wrap up, guys, I'd just love to thank everyone for all of their support. If you could please like this video, share this video with anyone you might think might enjoy it, that'd be great. Subscribe to my channel, stay in touch. And there's a new video coming out this week, guys. I've started my marathon training program, and I'm going to follow it along for the next 16 weeks for you guys to, if you ever thought about doing a marathon or anything like that. So keep an eye out for that video. Thanks again for all the support, and I'll see you at the end of this week after my juice diet. Thanks again, guys.